What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. We are going into the 6th season on the channel of Premier League predictions, and what better way to start it off with everyone's favorite video, my Premier League final table predictions for the year 2023-2024. The best part about this is that at the end of the season, we can look back and laugh because no one gets it really even close to right. It's likely that there's a team that I've predicted in the bottom half will finish in the top half. It's very likely that a team I've predicted to finish in the top 4 won't finish in the top 4. Similarly, it's very likely that a team I predicted to get relegated won't get relegated. So let me know your table predictions down in the comments, and let's get straight into it, kicking off with 20th place. It is a fairy tale story, really, isn't it? But like I'm sure a lot of people are going to go for, I've gone with Luton in 20th place. Now, my old neighbour and his friends, they're all actually Luton fans, and I heard them talking about it a few years ago, and I was hanging out with them. They were talking about, I think they're in League One at the time, and they really, really love Luton, so I want to see them do well. I think everyone wants to see them do well, but I just think it'll be a step too far, and similar to how a lot of people predicted Bournemouth in 20th last year, I think a lot of people are going to do the same with Luton this year. I also do just want to say I've not watched a single video of anyone predicting the Premier League. At the time of recording, it's still July. This is obviously going out in August, but I haven't seen a single video of anyone predicting it. Most people will probably do it a lot closer to the start of the season. So yeah, this isn't really influenced by anyone else. It's just my opinion. However, I will say it is hard to stray away from the favourites, but there are still some contentious calls in there. So let's get into it. 19th place, I've gone with Sheffield United. I believe my relegation 3 that I've picked are the 3 favourites to go down, so no surprises there necessarily, but I've gone with Sheffield United in 19th. Again, I think it'd just be a step too far for them. And 18th, I have gone for Bournemouth. I do think it was incredible the way that they stayed up last season. Are they going to be able to do it again? I'm not so sure. I think they could, and there are teams that I've placed above them that definitely could get relegated instead. I think at the very least, the next 2 or 3 teams, maybe even 4 teams, could go down instead of Bournemouth. And as someone who lives very near Bournemouth, who's seen Bournemouth play, I do hope that Bournemouth stay up, but I'm just going to put them in 18th place. 17th place, and surviving by a whisker, I've gone for Nottingham Forest. I think they have a good enough team to stay up. They pick up results that they really shouldn't. It seems that they struggle. Like, I could see them losing to, say, Luton or something like that, but then they'll go and beat Tottenham or Liverpool or Chelsea. Like, they'll just pull off a result. Drawing against Manchester City like last season, Nottingham Forest just do that. So I do think, with that being said, they will have enough to stay up. And in 16th place, I feel like I've been way too harsh here, and I was going to put them higher. I was actually going to completely swap them out with Fulham, but I've gone for Burnley in 16th, which feels quite low, actually, given how incredible they were last season. I think Burnley are going to stay up, definitely. 16th place feels very low, but I've made the graphic now, so I'm not going to go editing it because that would be a ball ache. Genuinely, that would take forever. So I'm going to stick with Burnley in 16th, but I think they're doing great work over there. They're actually, certainly in the Championship at least, they were more of an exciting team to watch rather than the 1-0 Burnley classics we got used to back when Sean Dyche took them to Europe that one year. So Burnley could definitely finish high bottom half of the table, you know, 10th, 11th, 12th, but I've put them in 16th. It's hard to put them anywhere else, so yeah, you never know. I'm going to get flamed in the comments no matter what I say. After that, in 15th place, I have Everton. Part of me wanted to put them lower, genuinely, but then the other part of me thinks it's still Everton. Along with Arsenal, they have the longest standing stint in the first division. Well, certainly in the Premier League, they've been here the whole time. They don't get relegated, and they've been massively underperforming. I tried to look at that when choosing where to place teams in this league table, and Everton have been underperforming in recent years. They are a better team on paper than they've been showing, so I'm going to bump them up a couple places into 15th. And after that, in 14th, I've got Wolverhampton Wanderers. This is a team I really don't know. Similar to Everton, I could have put them lower down. Wolves, Everton, I could have put them all below Burnley, Forest and Bournemouth, genuinely. And it wouldn't surprise me if Wolves do get relegated. I was tempted to go for a rogue shout, but last season I went for a rogue shout for relegation, saying Brentford would get relegated, and look where they ended up. So I do think Wolves are a relegation candidate, but at the same time, I do think they have a better squad than the likes of Bournemouth, Sheffield United, and Luton. Even though everyone's making some exciting signings, not everything's finalised. But yeah, I'm going to go for Wolves in 14th. 13th place, I've gone for Crystal Palace. Obviously, they've lost Wilfried Zaha, who I believe has gone to Galatasaray, which would be exciting for him. I mean, assuming Galatasaray make it through the Champions League qualifiers, which I think they will, then he'll be playing in the Champions League, which is very exciting. So I do think that in a way affects Crystal Palace. They don't have that sort of star player anymore, but I don't think it will impact their results as much as people may think. I think they actually will still play pretty well as a unit. They've still got some decent players. They shouldn't be worried about relegation. About 13th, 12th, 11th, 12th, 13th is sort of Crystal Palace territory, and I'm going to stick them in there. 12th place, I have got Fulham. Maybe I'm being biased because of how well they did last season, and that's why I said I think I could have swapped them out for Burnley, put Fulham in 16th and Burnley in 12th. I don't think Fulham will look out of place in 16th, and I don't think Burnley will look out of place in 12th. So bear that in mind, but I have gone Fulham for 12th place. Fairly decent season. You get what you get with Fulham. They just want to stay in the Premier League, and I think they'll do it. I think they'll provide some entertaining, high-scoring fixtures as well. After that, in 11th, I've gone West Ham. This is a really weird one to predict because, again, West Ham on paper are a good team. They've, of course, lost Declan Rice, their captain, to my club, Arsenal. However, last season, they finished 15th in the league but won the Conference League. Granted, I think Fiorentina were the best team throughout the Conference League, and I do think West Ham were a bit fortunate to win it. However, they won it. But that does mean they're in the Europa League, and you best believe they're going to give it their all, and they're a good team that on their day can beat any Europa League team if they play really well. So I do think they're going to struggle to go much higher than this sort of 11th position with the European football at a higher level that they've got to play. Because let's be real, the group stage and the Conference League in particular, they walked it. They were scoring goals for fun. They could rotate. The Europa League will be a bit tougher. I think the Premier League this season is going to be tougher, and I'm going to put them in 11th place. 10th place, I've gone for Brentford. I put them on a similar level to West Ham. Obviously, Ivan Toney won't be playing till at least January due to his ban, but I do think Brentford still play quite well without him. They've got a really good system going. They've made themselves a bit of a mainstay in the Premier League, and I do think they are going to finish mid-table. Like I said, last season I predicted they'd get relegated. I just thought second season syndrome, I think it was, and they proved me wrong. So I'm going to give them the respect they deserve and put them in 10th. After that, it's Aston Villa in 9th. I'll go for 8th as well. I've got Brighton. I would have put Tottenham in 9th, genuinely, but Aston Villa and Brighton both have Europe, and Tottenham on top of that don't. So Tottenham on paper should be better than Villa or Brighton. I don't think they're actually better than Brighton, to be honest. But on top of that, they've got a big squad without European football. So 7th place, I've gone Tottenham, and then Brighton 8th, Aston Villa 9th. I think Brighton out of the three are certainly the most exciting team to watch. At the moment, it's very up in the air as to whether or not Harry Kane stays. I think if he stays at Tottenham, Tottenham should have no problem finishing above Brighton and Aston Villa because Kane scores that many goals, that many important goals, and wins them that many games. If they lose Kane, you never know. But I'm going to go for Tottenham in 7th, but I don't think Tottenham really has anything on the top 6, even if they are part of the big 6. And in 6th place, I've gone for Newcastle. I think Newcastle had an amazing season last year. They've got Champions League, which is absolutely incredible. But it is going to be tough for them. I think a lot of teams, they'll take them more seriously as if they weren't last year, but they'll know what Newcastle are about. And Newcastle have made some good signings. They are an exciting team to watch. They could finish higher. This top 6 could finish in any order, really. The only one I'm confident on is first place. I'm sure you know who I've put there. And even that is not a guarantee this year. So I'm going for Newcastle in 6th, but watch this space. Now, 5th place, this is where it starts to get controversial a little bit. I've gone for Manchester United. I don't know how many people would agree with me saying that United wouldn't get top 4, but hey, they've got Champions League this season, which they will be. They'll have a good go at it, definitely. They are a good team, but I don't know. I think it's more who I think is going to be in 4th, and I've put Chelsea. I think Chelsea are going to improve so much under Pochettino. I think Chelsea are actually going to have a good season compared to last season anyway. And I can see them finishing above Man United. The only reason I had to put Man United in 5th is because I thought Chelsea would get 4th. And I can't take Arsenal out of the top 4. Part of me wanted to put Arsenal 4th, but then I didn't fancy putting United 3rd and Chelsea 5th. So I've gone for Arsenal 3rd, Chelsea 4th, and Manchester United 5th. I think Arsenal are a brilliant team. They just beat Barcelona 5-3 in their last friendly of the USA Tour. Trossard looks like a player, doesn't he? They all look good. If Arsenal can keep... Okay, theoretically here, if Arsenal could play Thomas Partey in every single game, I'd honestly put Arsenal at least 2nd, maybe even winning the league. But I believe he's that important, and on the basis that I'm assuming Partey will miss probably half the games, because he's not just a bit injured, he's always injured a lot. So I put him down to third. Obviously, Rice is a great addition. Rice has a brilliant injury record. He'll settle in well. Havertz looks to be settling in well. So I think Timber's a great player as well. A lot of money spent for Arsenal. If they could play their best 11 every week, I would put Arsenal to win the league. But they can't. And they won't play their best 11 every week. And, you know, I think if Arsenal play their best 11 every week, they would perform better than all the other teams that put out their best 11 every other week, other than maybe Manchester City. So I just think Arsenal don't have the legs. They need to show me that they've got the legs and they've got what it takes to win the league when the pressure's on. They've got Champions League football now this year, as opposed to Europa League last year, which was theirs for the taking, but we bottled it against Sporting. Second place, then the only one left that isn't Man City, I've gone with Liverpool. I think they will have a good season. They've got Europa League, so not quite as intense as the Champions League. I could see them winning the Europa League and getting top 4, maybe even the League Cup or something like that, but I think Man City will be very much hands on the League Cup this year. I think Liverpool are going to have a good season. Maybe, again, it's recency bias with that little Klopp-Guardiola sort of rivalry we've had over the last few years, even though Liverpool have only actually ever won one league out of it. It's hard not to put Liverpool this high, and I think Liverpool are currently bookies' third favourites to get top 4, just behind Arsenal and then behind Manchester City. So the bookies think, basically, the odds are the top 4 will be Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United. Those are the odds. And I've taken Man United out, put Chelsea in and swapped Liverpool and Arsenal around. And obviously that means Manchester City, I think, win the league. They could go for the quadruple. You never know. They've won the Champions League now, so the hoodoo is over. They know they can do it, and they are the best team in Europe. They can win the League Cup easily, and I think given that they won the treble last year and only a 2-0 loss to Southampton essentially stopped them winning the quadruple, they will take that just as serious as they always do. They usually win it. FA Cup, similarly, same way. And the Premier League, they've got Haaland. They've got unbelievable players. I think Kovacic is just a great addition. He's such a brilliant player. So I think Man City are going to win the league. So that's my sort of Premier League table prediction. So I suppose if I had to do almost underperformance of the season based on the hype, I would go Manchester United. I don't think they're going to live up to it, to be honest. And that's pretty much it. I could see Haaland winning the Golden Boot again. I do think Arsenal and Liverpool have a good season. I think Chelsea will have a good season. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, that is my Premier League table. There's so many you could change. I think if I look at it now, I could probably move Burnley up a few places. I think maybe I put Arsenal second. Imagine Arsenal win the league. I'd love to be ballsy enough to predict that, but it's hard not to. I've been brave enough putting Man United fifth because I do think they're a good team on their day. They just lose random games. I'd love to be able to put Brighton over Tottenham, but Tottenham not having European football is such a big thing, I think. So that is my final table. If you did enjoy this video and you're looking forward to the prediction videos, then drop a like and subscribe. To all the members that have stayed members over the summer as well, you're absolute legends. I'm thinking of, as well as doing tips, I want to do a sort of stake builder challenge where we take a stake as small as you like, £1, £10, £100, and basically over the course of a few months, every week, pick 1 or 2 bets with the goal to roughly double your stake. So like a simple double or something, or even a single like that, and just try to double your stake as you go along, maybe taking the stake out. So say you put in a tenner, you win 1 bet to 20, 1 bet to 40, you take the original tenner out, you then have 30 to go to 60 and stuff like that. I thought it'd be a really cool way to treat the members of the channel. So if you want to get involved with exclusive member tips and challenges and stuff like that, then you can click the join button down below or the first link in the description. But that is going to do it from me, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.